Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. We seek the blessings of Lord Hanuman before we begin this chapter. So today's chapter is about the secret of existence. How a woman can give birth to as many as 60,000 children. Physically impossible, but it was done through sage Aurava in an experiment. So as you know, there are 7 strings of time, and these strings can be broken into infinite numbers, not infinite, 60,000 numbers. So technically it is possible for a woman to give birth to 60,000 children. But how does that happen? We will come to know more. It was a very extremely misplaced experiment. When Baba Mathan finished the ritual of Arpanam for Yajman host Charita, so we'll pay our gratitude to Baba Mathan and Charita. The moment of prasadam was observed. Lord Hanuman asked Charita, "O the innocent one, I am pleased with the devotion with which you have offered your karma in the form of Arpanam. Do ask what you seek in prasadam." So these are some of the things that people don't understand, right? Why are we bringing prasada and offering when we can distribute it to poor children? Many of those questions. Why? Because we are fast forwarding our karmas. We are submitting, offering our karmas to the Lord in the form of whatever, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. So when we offer and he accepts, that much of karma is shrunk. That karma deficit that is there is going to get smaller. Do ask what you seek in prasadam. Charita secretly wished for a child. She was trying to conceive since last several months without any success. She could not gather the courage to express this wish upon Lord Hanuman. The words which finally came on her lips were, "O Lord Hanuman, supreme knowledge is what all we Mathans seek. Bless me with the knowledge which leads to moksha." Lord Hanuman smiled. He knew her unexpressed desire. So, dissolving the desires is what brings the soul on the path of moksha. Hence, Lord Hanuman made it a point to tell something which could either dissolve her desire or fulfill it in such a manner that it does not lead to more desires. He looked towards Urva, a young Mathan man in his 20s who was quietly sitting in the assembly. We'll pray or offer our gratitude to Urva. Lord Hanuman pointed his hand towards Urva and asked all the Mathans, "O Mathans, how do you know that a man called Urva exists in this universe? And he is sitting among you." A wave of fear gripped Urva's mind as Lord Hanuman challenged his existence. Urmi, we'll offer our gratitude to Urmi. Urmi, a girl in her 20s who was the hotar of the puja ceremony, stood up. It was her job as the hotar to facilitate the discussions in the puja so that Lord Hanuman could impart the supreme knowledge to the Mathans. She replied, "O Lord, I can see Urva from my eyes. I can walk up to him and touch him. I can speak to him. I can hear what he says. I can interact with him in many ways. This is how I know he exists out there." That is how all of us know that he exists. Lord Hanuman did not even look towards Urmi while she spoke. He was looking towards Urva in a mysterious way. He said, "So if I make him disappear from here, he will stop existing, right?" "No, Lord," Urmi immediately said. "I mean, even if he disappears from here, he will still be existing in our memories. All of us have memories related to him. His mother would remember how she carried him in her womb for 9 months, how she experienced moments of happiness and sorrow while watching him grow through ups and downs of life. His father would remember every moment since he came to this world. Baba Mathan would remember how." So Hanumanji immediately interjects and says, "If I remove him completely from the memories of all of you, would he stop existing?" Lord Hanuman asked while looking at Urva as though he was going to evaporate him. As Urmi was pondering on the question of Lord Hanuman, Urva stood up. His whole body was trembling with fear. He tried not to react to that fear in his voice. With his hands folded, he said, "O Lord, I am fully surrendered unto you. I exist because of you, and I shall happily perish at your feet." This statement of Urva brought a broad smile on Baba Mathan's face. He was feeling proud of the fact that despite being a young boy, Urva had all the qualities of a true Matham. He had no idea that Urva's body was trembling in fear and that he had spoken the words of devotion in distant hope of pacifying the wrath of Lord Hanuman. Those sweet words of devotion had no effect on Lord Hanuman. He continued looking at Urva while waiting for the answer of the question he had posed. Urmi churned all her wisdom and answered, "O the immortal Lord Hanuman, Urva doesn't merely exist in our memories, he has left impressions of his soul on every particle of this universe. He talks to the stars at night, so the stars have him in their memory. He talks to the birds and animals, so he exists in their memory too. He paints on the rocks. Those paintings are proof of his existence. When he walks on the sand, his footprints are left on the sand. His footprints from childhood till now may have disappeared from the present, but they do exist in the past. Every breath he has taken till now is an impression in memory of the god of wind. Every sip of water his body has taken in and out of it is an expression on the memory of the god of water. When he works out, his body gets hot. When he takes bath, his body gets cool. Thus the god of fire has him in his memory for the exchange of fire his body has done with the environment. Not only that, he is going to be the next Baba Matham. All Baba Mathans imagine him as the future Matham. Thus, he is in our imagination too, by virtue of which he exists in our future as well. Amazing, right? So if I remove every single interaction of Urva from past, present and future, from every particle of this universe, he will stop existing, right? Lord Hanuman remarked. He was still looking at Urva. Urmi had no answer now. She looked at Baba Mathan for a split second. When she turned to Lord Hanuman again, he was holding a pot of clay which was filled with milk-like white fluid. Lord Hanuman was looking at her. He asked, "Please repeat again what you just said." Urmi folded her hands and said, "O Lord, I expressed my query regarding the clay pot you are holding. What is it and what is the fluid inside it? Please enlighten me." Lord Hanuman, she has completely forgotten now. The complete existence of Urva has come into that pot. That's the fluid of life, or the fluid of space. Lord Hanuman blinked his eyes and jerked his head as though he had woken up at a strange place. He asked, "I could not understand what is going on here. Who are you and which place is this?" Urmi looked at Baba Matham. Baba stood up and said, "O Lord, we are your beloved Mathams. You have come to our land after 41 years. This is the first day of Charan Puja. First session was hosted by Basanta, and now the second session is going on, which is hosted by Yajman Charita. The ceremony of Arpanam is complete. Now the Prasadam moment is being observed. You asked her wish for Prasadam. She wishes to get the knowledge which leads to moksha. Then this pot has suddenly appeared in your hands. It seems to contain milk or some similar white fluid. Urmi is the voter of the ceremony. She expressed her query to know more about this pot and the fluid contained in it. If this is the prasadam for Charita, please enlighten us how she should handle it." "Oh yes. The pot and the fluid," Lord Hanuman smiled. Urmi and Baba Matham felt relieved. "This white fluid is called space," Lord Hanuman told. "This is the same fluid which is found in Vishnu Loka in the Mukti Sagara, what we call as Milky Way. Yeah, Kshira Rasa. This pot is not an ordinary pot. This pot is used by goddess Lakshmi. This fluid is looking like milk inside this pot, but if I let this fluid manifest itself, a man will come out of it. Name of that man is Aurava. You know him, don't you? No, Lord, Urmi replied. We do not know anyone called Aurava. Lord Hanuman brought expression of shock on his face. Gods who were watching Lord Hanuman doing this Leela smiled from above. Lord Hanuman said, Aurava is one of the Mathans. He is part of your community. He was here just few moments ago. I have caged his entire existence in this pot. All Mathans were puzzled to hear this. They looked at each other. Baba Mathan said, O Lord Hanuman, we could not understand this Leela of yours. I am the senior most Matham and I can tell with full conviction that no Matham has ever existed named Aurava. He was standing a moment ago at that place. Lord Hanuman pointed towards the place where Aurava was standing a moment ago. But that place was now occupied by another Mathan called Prema. Baba Mathan said with folded hands, O Lord, please forgive me, but the Mathan sitting there is called Prema. His name is not Aurava. None of the Mathan is called Aurava. What? Lord Hanuman intensified the expressions of shock on his face and said, Aurava is going to carry your legacy forward. He is going to be the next Baba Mathan. Baba Mathan replied, no one has been declared to be the next Baba Mathan yet, my lord. We hope that you will recognize a worthy candidate among young Mathans and declare him to be the next Baba. But how can someone who doesn't exist become a Baba? There is no one called Aurava among us. Lord Hanuman pointed towards a lady sitting there and said, you are the mother of Aurava. Have you also forgotten him? The lady stood up and said with hands folded, I do not have any son, O the mighty Hanuman. I only have one daughter and her name is Ratna and not Aurava. Lord Hanuman turned towards Urmi and said, you are very close to Aurava, O Urmi. Have you also forgotten him? Have you forgotten that he talks to the stars, he makes paintings on the rocks, and he has left his impression on every particle of this universe? You were telling me all this a moment ago. Urmi was puzzled. Lord Hanuman had caged the entire existence of Aurava in that pot. There was no sign of this existence left in the world at all. Urmi, for the sake of replying, said, O Lord, I do not know anyone called Aurava. How would I tell about someone I don't know? But if you say that a Mathan called Aurava exists, I would believe your word because we are all mere human beings. We can be subjected to illusions. Can you guide us to the rock where Aurava has made paintings so that we can ascertain his existence? Lord Hanuman removed artificial expressions of shock and disbelief from his face and laughed out loudly. He said, O Urmi, you will not find his painting on any rock. I have removed every sign of his existence and caged it in this pot. This fluid is Aurava. If I let this fluid manifest itself, not only will he appear again, but also expressions of everything he has done in the past will reappear. Urmi asked, O Lord, if we are not aware of the existence of Aurava, surely the gods would be aware of it. Should we ask the god of fire and god of water? Lord Hanuman replied, all the interactions of Aurava with the gods of fire and water are also caged in this pot. Hence, they won't know about Aurava. Only the god of space, Indradeva, and the god of time, Kaladeva, would know about him. Urmi said, O Lord, are Indradeva and Kaladeva superior than other gods? Lord Hanuman replied, O Urmi, when this fluid of space falls on the strings of time, then it manifests itself in other things. Then only fire, water, etc. come into the picture. Lord Vishnu gives the task of fulfilling the desires of a soul to Lord Indra. Everything Indra needs to accomplish his task is present in the white fluid called space. So he just takes this fluid from Mukti Sagara and starts pouring it on the strings of time. That is how a life comes into existence. Thus, Indra is the chief of all the gods which come into the picture when the fluid is poured on the strings of time. Devotees of this is Setu's note. Devotees of mainstream society can understand this with an analogy of a cinema projector. When a beam of light from a projector falls on a screen, you will see a film on the screen. Now, suppose that projector starts projecting a beam which creates real objects, the objects which you can see, feel, touch, and so on. Such a projector is Indra. He projects beam of a fluid called space on the screen of time. What do we understand from this? Well, I will tell you what I have as a takeaway from this, okay? A friend of mine has been going through a lot of trouble. I mean, unimaginable trouble. With him losing his job, his mother having an accident, and he is in deep debt, his parents relying on him. So there is I cannot imagine what he's going through, and he is my closest friend. Now, when something like this happens, what is it that we understand in this entire scenario? For me, it is these situations that are there are projected on a screen called the strings of time. So these are, when they fall on the strings of time, these situations come alive. So the greatest Maya is thinking that all this is real. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because we may also feel a lot of emotions with a lot of things that are going right and a lot of things that are going wrong. But this knowledge is going to help us in understanding how this Maya or illusion is created for us. It is nothing but, they say, right, ये सारा जगत एक रंगमंच है, प्रपंचने ಒಂದು रंगमंच. How? Because this is nothing but fluid of space on the strings of time, giving us an illusion of that entire movie. Instead of us watching the movie in the theater, we are watching our own lives. So please create this distance between the character and the soul. Let us start identifying ourselves with the soul rather than this character. This character's life is already there. This character is the movie. This character is what is being projected on the screen. So let me continue. Oh Lord, please let this fluid manifest itself. We are excited to know who this man called Aurava is. Urmi requested. Lord Hanuman shifted the pot of fluid and from his right hand to the left hand, okay? Then he stretched his right hand in air and slightly moved it from his wrist. 7 yellow strings appeared in the air. These were the strings of time which are usually invisible. Lord Hanuman made a part of the 7 strings visible to Mathans in yellow color. Urmi asked, "Oh Lord, are these the threads of time? But why are these threads not moving?" Ma'am, can I arrange a chair for you if you want to sit? Lord Hanuman did not reply to Urmi. He tilted the pot in such a way that fluid started dripping on the strings. As soon as the first drop of fluid touched the strings, it spread uniformly on the strings and they started moving. Next moment, everything changed. The pot in Lord Hanuman's hands disappeared. His hand was instead pointing towards Aurava, who was standing with his hands folded and body trembling. "Why are you trembling with fear, Aurava?" Lord Hanuman asked. "I surrender unto you, my lord. Whether you revoke my existence or make me disappear, I am all yours." Aurava uttered. Lord Hanuman smiled and said, "Why would I make you disappear, Aurava?" Aurava stood silent. Urmi spoke up. "Oh Lord, as I was telling, he has left impressions of his existence on every particle of the universe. so his existence cannot be revoked. Lord Hanuman smiled and said, just a moment back I had revoked his existence. I had caged his entire existence in a pot. At that moment, none of you were ready to believe that there is a person called Urva. Now that I have reinstated his existence, everything is back to normal. Now you are not ready to believe that he can stop existing. Yajman Charita said, "Oh Lord, I too don't remember that you had that you had made Urva vanish from here a moment ago. But I got a blurred vision of a strange fluid dripping on a set of strings. Those strings started moving when the fluid dripped on them. After that, I don't remember." "Oh, the innocent one," said Lord Hanuman, "those are the strings of time. They move when the fluid of space falls on them. That is how our life comes into existence. You all exist because of the projection of space on the strings of time. Your soul is sitting on the strings of time. Your soul has a set of desires. The fluid of space manifests itself on the strings of time to fulfill those desires. Your soul was in Mukti Sagara. If your soul did not have any desire, it would not have taken birth at all. Because you expressed a desire, the soul. You remember we had in that last story, Lord Hanuman prays to Lord Brahma, and then he takes his gada and he makes a movement in the Mukti Sagara, and the soul comes out. They were tracking the origins of Chandra. Okay, we will read that story. So at that time, he takes the Ashwin twins on his shoulders and he goes there to Mukti Sagara in Vishnu Loka. Fine, then we will read that story again. So he asks Lord Brahma for the power. So Lord Brahma, what does he do? He stirs the Mukti Sagara. When the Mukti Sagara is stirred, if a soul has any desires, it will come up and it will express a desire to Lord Vishnu, who is sleeping on his Sheshnag. Lord Mahavishnu is communicating telepathically with billions, trillions of souls. Trillions of souls. Lord Mahavishnu is sitting on his Sheshnag and communicating telepathically with trillions of souls. So Chandra's soul comes up and says and communicates to Lord Mahavishnu saying, I have these set of desires. So where can I take birth? So Lord Mahavishnu says, then Earth is the right planet for you, go there. So she says, but you are a supreme soul, so be aware that when you go into Earth, the trap of Maya, the illusion of Maya will surround you and make you forget about me. So she immediately says, then I don't want to go to Earth, send me to some different loka. So Mahavishnu says that in every loka, the Maya is equally strong, whichever loka you go. But I will be taking avatars from time to time to remind the people that of myself and their connection with me. That is why we pray to Lord Rama, to Lord Hanuman, to Lord Krishna. Why? Because our soul needs to remember where it came from. This is where it has come from. All this is Maya, my friends. All this is Maya. Whatever we think is happening, my life, my family, my kid, my parents, my job, my bank balance, I've invested in shares, it is not doing well, I'm losing money here, I'm gaining money here, I have to get married, I should not be getting married. All of this is your Maya. This is your movie going on. Your real remembrance is anchored where? Yajman Charita said, oh Lord, I too don't remember, you all exist because of this projection of time. The fluid of space manifests itself on the strings of time to fulfill those desires. If you didn't have any desire, you would not be coming out of Mukti Sagara. To go back to Mukti Sagara is the cessation of desires. Cessation meaning end of desires. When we say, if we keep expressing desires, we will still be on that strings of time. When we slowly bring our desires into awareness, we start slowly exiting. We get into those shunya tunnels. Maybe I should read some more stories to make you understand what those shunya tunnels are. So when this fluid of space, there is strings of time. Imagine my fingers as the strings of time. So when the fluid of space falls on the strings of time, it doesn't grip it. There is a small space in between the fluid of space and the strings of time, which means if it is going on this, it is not exactly there. They are not touching. If you remember the movie, it said there is molecules don't touch. So in between is a tunnel. Those tunnels are called the shunya tunnels. If we think we are nothing, if we think we are shunya, which means that, so our soul is also the same power of the soul which is existing in a bacteria, in a virus. It is the same soul, it is driving us. So how tiny is our soul? Can you imagine how tiny is our soul? You can imagine it as shunya, or you can imagine it as a speck of light. Speck of light. If we think that we are nothing, we do not associate ourselves with this character, but we are associating ourselves with a speck of light, then we can slip between those shunya tunnels, between the strings of time and the fluid of space. And through shunya tunnels, you can go anywhere in time. You can go to Mahabharata and watch it and come back like it happened in front of you. You can take up a body there because this entire universe is static. There is nothing moving. It is a web of space and time. So you can take those shunya tunnels and go to any, in an instant, you can be there and come back. That is what everybody does. That's how Lord Hanuman does. If you have read autobiography of a yogi, that is what they are doing. In an instant, the sadhus are manifesting themselves not only here but in other places as well. So,
हमारा existence इसलिए होता है क्योंकि हमारा desire होता है, उसकी वजह से हमारा existence। desire fulfill होने के बाद हम लोग का complete होता है, तब हम लोग का experience होता है।
कब होता है? नहीं होता ही नहीं है ना। हम अगर एक डिजायर हम लोग एक्सप्रेस करते हैं और वो फुलफिल हो जाता है, तो आप सोचिए उसके ऊपर और भी बढ़ता रहेगा। तो एक सिंपल सा एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ। अगर आप 10 साल पहले आप सोचेंगे कि मेरे क्या डिजायर्स थे, तो वो 10 साल के बाद एक्चुअली कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं, तो शायद 5 साल में ही हो चुके हैं, पर क्या आपके डिजायर्स रुके? आपका सिंपल डिजायर था, मेरा सिंपल डिजायर, it keeps increasing. I want to have this, I want to have a job, I want to have a job that pays 2 lakhs per month. After that, I will have something else. I want to have a car, I want to have this kind of a car. My friends are having a house, I also should buy a house. Oh, but my son needs to go to that school only. All of that. So what are we doing? We are running and running and running, saying, I want to get that. So we are never in the present. We are always trying to get something in the future. Correct? If we bring those desires in our awareness, in our consciousness, and say that this is what we are doing, and I am continuously doing that. I am not only sitting here and telling you, but I am also doing it every minute. The minute I see my mind wandering and saying, I think my life should be like this, I ask myself, what am I doing? What desire am I expressing? What desire am I expressing? So by bringing it into awareness, I say, I don't want this desire. Let it be the way it is. I am not expressing this desire. Because the desire is for the character, right? What should the soul want? Even moksha is a desire, but at least let it be a better desire. To say that, I don't imagine all the things that are happening around us, the environmental pollution, the way everything is degrading, oxygen levels reducing, toxicity in the air. Imagine you take a birth again after 150, 200 years and come back on earth, what will be the situation? Time is now. Time is now to understand, to bring all this in our awareness and move towards moksha. So, along with, the fluid of space manifests itself on the strings of time to fulfill those desires. In that process of manifestation, the strings of time move. Along with them, your soul also moves and acquires a different set of desires. Then again, the liquid of space manifests itself to fulfill new set of desires of your soul. And this goes on and on till your soul realizes this illusion and leaves the strings of time. So, we can take another few lifetimes to realize that this is all an illusion, or we can realize it right now and say, yes, trust me on one thing, okay? Whatever desires we are feeling now, that story has repeated time and again for our previous 20 births or 25 births. Whatever desires you're feeling now, are you feeling the desire to feel wealthy? You have already been rich for the last 25 years. Now is the time to say enough. Enough of chasing wealth. If you are chasing lust or chasing women, you have done that so many times in your previous lives, enough. If you are chasing power, you're chasing peace of mind, you're chasing wealth, you're chasing whatever it is. We have done that time and again, time and again. So I'll give you a simple example. People ask me, how did you build this physique? And I said it didn't take me too much effort. Because and I can tell you that my body I have been a warrior, I have seen my births. I have done past life regression, I have been a warrior, I have died a warrior's death. I have been a warrior all my life. Enough is enough, now is the time. And maybe that's the reason why I had actually cleared my NDA. I would have joined the army, or I would have joined even the Air Force. I had cleared my AFCAT. But my parents, who have come from a military background, said no more. So I did not join. Maybe that's the reason why I'm here. So enough. I've chased that life. I don't want that life anymore. I don't want that warrior's life anymore. I have done that. So this is the life where you ask this. In this birth, we ask ourselves, what am I chasing? And then for us to realize that whatever it is that I'm chasing, I will get it. It is not too elusive. अगर हम पूरा अपना दम लगा के उसके पीछे भागते हैं ना, it will definitely come to us, right? But the realization is in the fact that I have already done that in the last 25 births. That's it. This birth I say no more. This birth I shift and I realize this birth is for me to realize that all of this is an illusion. And I am living that story again and again. All the Mathans were trying to understand the words spoken by Lord Hanuman. As a result, there was silence for about a minute. Then Lord Hanuman spoke. I can make a person disappear from here in such a way that you will forget that the person ever existed. You remember relative change and absolute change that we spoke about? Relative change is when everything changes around us, so there is no, and even the memories are altered. With the Sudama story. You were there for the Sudama story, right? You were not there. Okay, so absolute change happens when everything changes in such a way that your memories are also altered about it. And you have no idea. This was an absolute change. Relative change is when Lord Hanuman says, go outside this Hanumandal and see. So if all of them had become 25 feet tall, as tall as the trees. When they go outside the Hanumandal, he's shocked. Because everything had increased relatively inside the Hanumandal. When he comes back, everything is normal. Because everybody had grown that much. So there is something called absolute change and something called relative change. This is an example of absolute change. I can make a person disappear from here in such a way that you will forget that the person ever existed. Similarly, I can bring a person here in such a way that you will feel that the person was always with you. That is what I did with Aurava just now. At this point, a Mathan man in his 50s stood up from the audience and asked with his hands folded, when a person has to die, O Lord, you should revoke his entire existence so that all things and memories related to the dead person would vanish. Why do you leave memories and things of the dead person behind, which causes sorrow to the loved ones of the dead person? Lord Hanuman appreciated the fact that an ordinary Mathang raised a query in Charan Puja. He replied, can you try and answer this question? You know the question, right? The question is, why isn't God making the memories of a dead person vanish? But instead he is there and we feel sorrow because he has died. The memories are still there with us. God can save us the pain, right?
Yeah.
So why is he keeping the memories alive?
Carry forward.
Huh?
The memories is with us. Is in our mind.
That's what he's asking. Why are you can very well erase everything about that person who had existed? That's the question. Then you would be saved of all the pain, right?
Pain and
You can make everything. You can take back all the memories of that person. He would have never existed. Then we will be happy forever. We will never know our dead relatives.
Karma?
Huh?
Because of karma, remember that.
Remember this. Whenever pain comes, you will move closer to God. Always. The pain and the painful experiences of my life have brought me closer to God. It's your painful experience that the reason why you're all here. If you had only pleasures in your life, you would never remember God. Would you remember God? You think about it. We have all faced pain to such an extent that we are here today. Hanuman appreciated and he replied, your soul gets to experience sorrow because you desire it. No one desires sorrows, my lord. Everyone desires only pleasure, Urmi commented. Lord Hanuman smiled and said, pleasure and sorrow are relative things. If you desire pleasure, you indirectly desire sorrow. He had read this story. That is why you should desire neither sorrow nor pleasure. Then you will get your place back in Mukti Sagara, where there is no sorrow and no pleasure. Yajman Charita asked, "O Lord, why did I get a vision of a white fluid dripping on yellow strings? How come no other Mathang got any vision of what you did with Urva just now?" Lord Hanuman replied, "O Charita, imagine that I collected entire existence of Urva in a pot. It will look like a white fluid. If I release that liquid back, nothing would change. Everything will become the way it was before I captured his existence in the pot. But just imagine, what if I take one drop of fluid with me and release the rest of it? That one drop can change Urva's world upside down. For example, suppose that drop is responsible for the color of Urva's skin. This feels like DNA, right? Then Urva's color will go off. He will get a transparent skin. That one drop can change not only Urva but all of you. You will get a person among you who has an unusual skin. World view of all of you will change. O Charita, I did not take any drop out of his existence, but I have done a slight change in it so as to benefit you. That is why you saw a vision of fluid falling on the strings of time. It will help you in fulfilling your wish." What was her wish? We read in the beginning of this chapter, right? What was her wish?
to have a child.
Yes, to have a child. Urmi looked at Basanta, who was the Yajman of the first session. Let us express our gratitude to Basanta as well. Basanta has been an awesome character in all of this, right? He has taught us so much. Because Basanta is just like us, he has all the Asuras and Suras in him. Urmi looked at Basanta, who was the Yajman of the first session of Charan Puja. His wish of getting his gemstones back was still unfulfilled. Urmi looked at him to see whether anything has changed in him too. She couldn't make out anything from his outlook. Lord Hanuman further said, there is a sage called Aurava. He had started experimenting with the fluid of space so much that Lord Indra was threatened by his innovations. Though Aurava never used his innovations for evil, he was able to change the destiny of anyone he wanted. Note by Setu is, do not confuse Mathang Urva with sage Aurava in this chapter. Mathang Urva is the person who is still alive, and sage Aurava existed even before the time of Lord Rama in the Satyuga. This itself was, the Treta Yuga was when he existed, right? And before Treta Yuga was Satyuga. That's when Maharishi Aurava existed. Aurava was the guru of King Sagara, and King Sagara was an ancestor of Lord Rama. King Sagara owed his life to sage Aurava. When Sagara was in the womb of his mother, his father passed away. His father had lost his kingdom and was living in a jungle. Enemies were plenty. When his father died, enemies started hunting for his pregnant mother. At that time, sage Aurava saved his mother. When Sagara was born, sage Aurava imparted the knowledge of life and knowledge of warfare to him. Sagara then reclaimed his ancestral kingdom from his enemies. Even after becoming the king, Sagara used to regularly visit sage Aurava in his hermitage. Once he planned to visit there with his wife Sumati. Whenever they used to go there, they used to take Modaka. You know Modaka, right?
Yeah.
For sage Aurava's son Rishika. I feel like eating Modakas. Especially the white ones, the steamed ones, not the fried ones. They are awesome. Oh.
You all started.
So they knew that Rishika was fond of Modakas, so they used to get Modakas prepared specially in the royal kitchen. 2 days before Sagara and Sumati were to depart for sage Aurava's hermitage, Sumati ordered the royal chef to prepare Modakas. This might feel, have you all watched Final Destination, the movie? Have you seen Final? You haven't seen Final Destination? Okay. This will remind you of Final Destination then. So they were supposed, the king and the queen were preparing to start their journey towards the hermitage. Sage Aurava in his hermitage saw a vision while doing meditation. He saw that the king and the queen are to be killed on the way due to a landslide. He had only one option if he wanted to save them, to send a communication immediately to them so that they do not use that path where the landslide was destined to happen. Sages are not allowed to tell the future to the subject of their vision. If they tell, then they lose their power to see the future. So this option was ruled out. Sage Aurava decided to use the very innovation which was making Lord Indra furious, the innovation of revoking an existence completely. Guess what he'll do now? Just like Lord Hanuman did with Urva, they will take away. So, yeah, he was experimenting on his own son Rishika. He was able to revoke the entire existence of Rishika and capture it in a pot. When the king and the queen were preparing to depart from their palace for their journey, sage Aurava in his hermitage revoked the existence of Rishika. All the memories and impressions in the universe which were related to Rishika got captured in a pot. When the king and the queen came out of the palace and started their journey, the royal chef came running to them. He was shouting, "Oh queen, oh king, you forgot to take those Modakas with you." The queen Sumati said, "Modakas? For what? Why should we carry Modakas to the hermitage of sage Aurava?" "I do not know, queen," the chef replied. "Your highness ordered me to prepare the Modakas for this journey of yours." "No, you are mistaken. I never ordered to make Modakas," the queen replied. She had forgotten everything about sage Aurava's son and the Modakas because sage Aurava had revoked the entire existence of his son.
Why did you do that?
You'll get to know. The king and queen departed without taking the Modakas with them. Just when they reached a spot near the landslide which was destined to happen, sage Aurava in his hermitage reinstated the existence of his son Rishika. All the memories and impressions related to Rishika reappeared in the universe. It reappeared in the minds of the king and queen too. They realized they had forgotten to bring modikas for him. They stopped their caravan. Just when they were thinking how to get the modikas from the palace, whether they should send a soldier or go themselves, the landslide started few meters away from their caravan, where their caravan had stopped. They thanked their stars that they stopped, otherwise landslide would have killed them. They had no idea that they were saved by sage Aurava by his unique innovation. That's why they say that these Maharishis had acquired the power of the gods. There's so many Maharishis, Vishwamitra, Vasishtha, Aurava, sage Kapila, so many of them, they had acquired the power of the gods. Atreya, Agastya, I was searching for his name. Agastya, they were the seven Maharishis. Lord Shiva himself had given that power of the yoga to them, and they were sent in different directions so that yoga could be given. And I'm not talking, when they say yoga, they feel that what is happening now. No, that is not the yoga. Yoga is the understanding of how the body and the soul unite as one, and in that understanding that the body is different, the character is different from the soul. That is what the yoga, the true power of yoga was supposed to be. When they got the modikas delivered from the palace, they took a different route and reached sage Aurava's hermitage. They had great conversations with sage Aurava and spent peaceful time at the hermitage. Sage Aurava noticed that Queen Sumati's mind was not fully at peace. He enchanted her with words of wisdom. Her heart cracked open and her innermost feelings came out. She revealed, Gurudeva, the younger queen has given birth to a child named Asmanjas. With your blessings, dynasty will continue with Asmanjas. The king is happy and so am I. I consider Asmanjas as my own child. But somewhere deep inside my heart, I feel incomplete as a woman. The deep desire of experiencing motherhood is not ready to accept the reality. Who told you that you will never become a mother? I only told you that your body cannot hold a child. That doesn't mean you cannot give birth to a child, said Sage Aurava said. You have the power to give birth to as many as 60,000 children, just like any other woman has. 60,000? The queen exclaimed. That doesn't seem humanly possible, Gurudeva. The king said, for a life to come into existence, only two things are required. What? Fluid of space and strings of time. Sage Aurava explained, one life needs at least 7 strings of time. O Srimati, you are situated on 7 strings of time. O Sagara, you are also situated on 7 strings of time. But there is a difference. Strings of time for males are like straight logs of wood, while strings of time for females are like branches of a tree. Just like twigs grow on branches, small strands of time can split from female strings of time. A woman can split as many as 4,20,000 strands of time. Amazing, right? 7 strings are required to manifest a life. Hence, a woman can manifest or give birth to as many as 7 divided by 4,20,000, 6 sevens are, 7 6 are. So, 60,000 lives. King Sagara asked Gurudeva, then what is the role of a male in manifesting new life? Sage Aurava replied, strands of time cannot hold a life unless they start moving, right? The strands of time start moving only when the fluid of space starts falling on them. When the fluid of space stops falling on the strings of time, life stops existing. Just imagine your own existence, O Sagara. You exist because you are standing on the 7 strings of time on which a stream of fluid of space is continuously pouring. The fluid of space is being poured upon your strings by the god of time, Indradeva, or he's also by the god of space, Indradeva. So, if you know, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had completely attained enlightenment, so much so that he could attain samadhi, he could go into samadhi just standing. And he could exit the strings of time anytime he wanted. So remember what we had just studied, just now in this chapter. If you want, I can go back and read it. As your desires get renewed, fresh fluid of space keeps falling, and so you keep moving forward. When there are no desires, what will happen? You're wrong. You will go back. When there are no, that's why Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said that I have one desire that I have kept because my body has to be here. What?
Eating.
Chewing pan.
Yeah.
Chewing pan, so that his wife would ask him,
Why would you eat so much?
so why are you eating so much pan? It's bad for you, it's giving you cancer. He had, I think, throat cancer, something he had, okay, towards the end. So it's giving you cancer, you're like, your body is in pain, still you continue to eat pan. So he tells her, I think Sadhguru has explained it to her in one story, in one video, where Sadhguru says, relax, if I stop eating pan, then you will not find me here. And that is exactly what happened to Swami Vivekananda as well. He says that the illusion of Maya is very thin. I have asked Goddess Ma Kali to keep that Maya, one thin layer of Maya. And I can see that that layer is very thin. The minute the veil lifts, he will. So that's why it is very important that we keep our, for the enlightened ones, some Maya should be there, some desire should be there. Okay. Setu's note. In this age of ignorance, there is a very popular myth that Indra is the god of rain. Now can you imagine how this myth got created? He rains fluid of space on the strings of time. He doesn't rain ordinary water which we can see in rainy season.
Yeah.
He is the king among all the gods who contribute in functioning of this world. So, if you come across any of these masters or these gurus who are talking about this kind of thing, right, you will know that they have not really understood it. Because we are getting this kind of a knowledge right from Lord Hanuman. So please understand this. That's what we were having that conversation. If I get the knowledge, because see, this curses and boons, that he's this thing, all of this is trying to, is explained in a way. Now, Dena Mariam could have a very different, she could probably be enlightened. But the minute the explanation comes to you in a simplified form, what will happen? Because see, you are very well capable of understanding this. Should you be understanding it in a simplified form?
No.
Think about it, right? So Gurudeva, if the fluid of space is poured upon by Lord Indra, what is the role of male? A woman can simply pray to Indra Deva and say, "Oh Indra, here I split 7 new strands from my strings of time. Please pour the fluid of space on these strands so that a new life can manifest on them." Lord of space Indra Deva manifests through a male, and the Lord of time Kala Deva manifests through a female. Shall I read it again? Lord of space Indra Deva manifests through a male, and Lord of time Kala Deva manifests through a female. Sage Aurava explained, suppose you need to bring water in the fields here. There is a river flowing 8 miles away from here. To bring the water in the fields, would you dig a canal from that place, or would you attempt to dig a canal right from the point where the river originates? The fluid of space comes from Mukti Sagara. A stream of that fluid is already reaching you. To manifest a new life, Lord Indra just has to split the stream which is already reaching you. He doesn't need to bring a new stream all the way from Mukti Sagara. How should I pray to Lord Indra so that he can split my stream of space so as to create a new life? King Sagara asked. Sage Aurava replied, O Sagara, your stream of space falls on your strings of time and creates all the objects which you see around you. If you want Indra to split your stream to create a new life, you would need to dissolve everything around you just for a fraction of a second. In that fraction of second, Lord Indra will split your stream of space and direct it wherever you want. Did you understand this concept? Yeah. O Sagara, your stream of space falls on your strings of time and creates all the objects which you see around you. If you want Indra to split your stream to create a new life, you need to dissolve everything around you just for a fraction of a second. In that fraction of a second, Lord Indra will split your stream of space and direct it wherever you want. Wherever I want, King Sagara asked. Sage Aurava replied, yes, if you want to father a child with Queen Sumati, your soul should be close to her soul when Lord Indra splits your stream of space. Queen Sumati asked, but Gurudeva, you said that my body cannot hold a child. Then how can I become a mother? Sage Aurava replied, theoretically, even a small girl has 4,20,000 strands of time in her, but a soul is always protective of its body. That is why until a woman's body is capable of holding a child, the soul doesn't let those strands of time stretch. If a body is capable of holding one baby, then the soul allows only 7 new strands of time to stretch in a woman. Because of a problem in your body, your soul is not even allowing a single strand of time to stretch. If you can get another body, you can become a mother. Did you understand the concept? Did you understand the concept? So he says that, see, sir, thank you. 1 second. Can we just play our gratitude to them? Thank you. Jai Shri Ram. That is why until a woman's body is capable of holding a child, the soul doesn't let those strands of time stretch. In Sumati's body, the strings of time weren't stretching because it wasn't splitting and stretching. Even though she had it, if it doesn't stretch, what will happen? It will be here, no? Like imagine this is it. This is this thing. If it is not stretching, it is like a node, like a bud. Only when it stretches can the fluid be poured on it. So, but if you get another body, you can become a mother. Sage Aurava replied, suppose there is a female body which is alive, but there is no soul in it, like a coma condition. If somehow your soul can be convinced that that body is yours only, then your child can conceive in that body. But when the child takes birth from that body, it will have features of that body. The body will be the mother, not me. I won't get the feeling of motherhood with the child born through that body. Correct, no? But what she's not realizing is that it is, Queen Sumati said, Sumati, if your strands of time are used to conceive that child, he will have your features and your soul will feel all the emotions of motherhood with him. He will be your child. Something like a surrogate baby now. Like a test tube surrogate baby, which somebody else mothers for 9 months and is born. So you will have the mother will, when I say you, the woman will have the motherly child with the motherly feelings. Why? Because it was her DNA that was taken and planted in another woman's body, right? Very similar, right? Amazing. So, his eyes, Sage Aurava's eyes were sparkling with the prospect of getting his theoretical knowledge tested. He asked, "Is there any woman in your kingdom who would let her body be used to give birth to your child? I would need to take out her soul from the body and keep her in a state of soullessness for 9 months." Queen Sumati replied, "Any woman in our kingdom would be happy to do that. As you know, apart from being a queen, I am also the minister of women affairs of the kingdom. Women of entire kingdom love me. They can give their life for me. There is no risk to their life," sage Aurava said. Just like a surrogate mother, no? Queen Sumati wanted only one child, but sage Aurava wanted to test his knowledge. Theoretically, he knew that a woman can give birth to as many as 60,000 children if a body allows. He wanted to test this theoretical knowledge. He persuaded the king and queen for this experiment. A little more than 60,000 women were made soulless, but only 60,000 women became pregnant with a little more than 60,000 women were made soulless, but only 60,000 women became pregnant with the children of King Sagara and Queen Sumati. After 9 months, Queen Sumati became the mother of 60,000 children. Sethu's note: if you know any couple who is facing the problem of infertility, please share the link of this chapter with them or take a printout and give them. It may help them fulfill their desire and move on to the path of moksha. Please note, if you can take the printout of the content published on this website only for personal purpose. The print button is at the bottom anyway. Supplementary to chapter 10. Yeah.
So we finished this chapter?
So this chapter goes on. No, it ends here.
Can you explain what it's like why male and female, right? I did not understand that.
Like the male acts like a fluid of space and female acts like the space of time, strings of
So
time.
how without a male, how she can able to go back to...
So he says that when the male soul is feeling close to the female soul, that is when he is able to make her strings of time stretch.
Okay. Both should be nearer so that...
Both the souls should be close. See, many a times what happens is that our character gets involved in all the worldly affairs and we lose the connection with the soul, right? If I am so involved with my, my office affairs and my fitness and my friends and all these things, and the running of the house, there's something not working, do I feel close to my wife at that time? No. There is a moment when probably everything is done, we feel like relaxing together, we are in a car drive, on a nice long drive, we go for a resort, vacation, something like that, right? That's when you feel the connection. So that's when you relive or reignite the connection. So it's not just the bodies alone, but the souls are coming together. That's what they say. When the soul feels closer, when the soul gets connected, at that moment, what happens is that her strings will stretch. The minute her strings stretch, he asks Lord Indra to pour that fluid of space on those strings. So how does the soul stretch? Those strings stretch. He convinces the soul that that body that is soulless is hers. The soul, he has kept that body in a state of soullessness. So her soul is now convinced that all those 60,000 plus bodies are mine. So when it happens, then she feels closeness to that soul of Sagara. Immediately her strings stretch. When the strings stretch, he asks Lord Indra to pour that fluid of space. So the body that is having her soul, she gets pregnant.
But how can one Sumati's soul occupy 60,000 bodies?
At a time.
That is how you are convinced, right? Remember that chapter in which he calls Lord Hanuman calls no. He sends one more body. There is a girl who is raped and she doesn't want her body anymore. Do you remember that story?
We haven't read the rape.
Okay, so there is a girl who is raped and her body is violated. She is gang raped actually. In fact, her mother will be a devotee of Lord Mahavishnu. Lord Mahavishnu tells Lord Hanuman to protect her. So Lord Hanuman continuously tells her mother that, look, there is something wrong. It is actually a case of love jihad. So he is telling, he continuously in his dreams, he is warning the mother that she is in bad company. And then he plants that message in the minds, in the dreams of her friends. Her friends advise her, you are in bad company, leave that guy. But she continues to be with that guy. And one day he asks her to come and he along with his friends, they gang rape her. And at that time, she is in a coma. But when she is in a coma, her soul is so disgusted with her body that it says, I don't want this body. When the soul doesn't have any desire to occupy the body body will die. But Lord Hanuman requests Lord Mahavishnu, and there is one soul who hadn't reached Vishnu Loka. She was that soul was still stuck in I think Brahma Loka. But Brahma Loka is one loka below Vishnu Loka. So still that soul was an evolved soul. So it tells that she tells that soul, she meaning Lord Hanuman and Lord Mahavishnu, asked that soul to come and occupy this body. So the soul comes and occupies the body of this girl and she recovers. Now what happens is, her soul also wants to occupy this body. Now the body is fine. Body has recovered, it becomes healthy again. So the girl's soul says, Arey, it is my soul. But this girl's soul gets stuck in the drama, in the illusion. She should have exited, no? But she says, no, this is also my body. So Lord Hanuman tries to remind her that, look, it is not your body, you are that evolved soul from Brahmaloka which came to help in the remediation, or to help this soul get fine. For the body to get fine, you have to go back there. But she says, no, I will not go.
This is there in Immortal Talks book 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it is in 1, I think.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's in 2, you're right, it's in 2. So that is how the souls are fighting for the same body. So and then she gets fits and she
gets
gets
attached to that body
yeah,
and that person and
correct.
she doesn't leave. Yeah.
So that is how, if the soul is convinced that that body is mine, then it will go and occupy that. And then similarly, through the powers of sage Aurava, he makes Queen Sumati feel as if all those 60,000 bodies, one after another, is hers. So even though they might have this thing, when their souls are together, when they are connected, Sagara and Sumati, each of the bodies are getting pregnant. So that is how the surrogate baby is happening. But this leads to a major problem, huge problem. We'll read that in the next chapters. Tell me why?
Because the other mother has a feeling?
No. Then the baby is born, the souls are brought back and they don't have any feeling for that baby. Like a surrogate baby, right? She carries it in her womb and she delivers. And after that, only that mother will have the feeling. For the surrogate mother, there is no feeling. So it's just like that. They deliver, they give it back to Queen Sumati, and then Sage Aurava brings back the soul and into that respective body. But you know why it leads to a major problem?
Relationship.
No. These souls are complete Asura souls. They are completely under the control of
That
Asuras.
is why the 60,000 souls, they go and attack some Rishi, right? And
Yes.
Rishi...
Yes, how do you know that story?
This is the story of Bhagirathi, right?
Correct.
That's why the Bhagirath goes and...
Yes, that is okay. We will read that in the next chapters. But that is also, see, the thing is that we are getting to know all these stories, but they were told in the form of curses and wounds. Never remember one thing, that the laws of universe have been the same in Kali Yuga as they had been in Satyuga. Satyuga was different, but in Treta Yuga, in Dwapara Yuga, and so in Kali Yuga. So if somebody comes and gives you the story in the form of curses and wounds, disbelieve it. Do not believe it. There must have been something else. And this is the knowledge that is coming to you now, that you know how it is happening. See, our minds are now capable of understanding it, right? Why are they capable of understanding it? Because you are all sitting here are grahastha sadhakas. You had all walked on the spiritual path in your last 25 births. That is why you are here. If you hadn't gone on the spiritual path, you wouldn't be sitting here. You understood, right? So, this is the only life. Let us put all our force, all our attention, everything into attaining moksha in this life. Even if we don't, and even if we fail, we will still win, because we would have taken that many more steps towards moksha. In the next life, when we come, who knows, we will be a rishi who would have already, because remember, the greatest learning doesn't happen in this life, it happens in between lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is when there are learned, attained masters who guide your soul into, so every life is moving towards that, right?
Right.
Every life moves towards moksha.
Right.
They go through all of these sins and everything and move towards, so if you only led a sinful life, they help them in saying, in giving them, when you giving that divine, that knowledge, but when you come back on earth, you forget everything, you go back. But why is this knowledge coming to us now? It is reminding us of something that we learned in between births, of the truth that we learned in between births. So that truth is coming back to us when we are in this illusion. Why? To help us break the illusion. Okay, let me read this last few words, which are the Setu's notes of this, okay? Supplementary to chapter 10. Click here to read rare descriptions of 9 forms of Devi Durga by Lord Krishna. Before the Kurukshetra war began, Lord Krishna tells Hanumanji, he tells him that, see, the Pandavas have, even though they are noble souls, they have undergone so much of troubles in their lives, right? Ever since they were kids. So their life has been a continuous saga of suffering. If you see, they have always suffered. And Lord Krishna says, and in this Kurukshetra war also they will lose. And they will suffer after that. The only way to ensure that they do not lose is to perform the Navadevi Durga Puja. And Lord Krishna, Lord Hanumanji helps in that Navadurga Devi Puja. And all of the Pancha Pandavas are also there. They are the voters of the ceremony. Lord Krishna conducts this puja, after which Devi Durga herself descends apparently to help the Pandavas win in the war. Okay. Sage Aurava. So practical applications of chapter 10 in day-to-day life, which is this chapter. 1. Creating your own good luck. Sage Aurava was miles away from King Sagara when Sagara was destined to die in a landslide. Still, Sage Aurava saved Sagara's life by simply playing with his memory. King Sagara and his wife got saved because they had memories of Sage Aurava's son in their minds. If you want to create your own good luck, you should have memory of something which is beloved to the Siddhas and gods. For example, if you want Lord Ram to save you, you should have memories of Lord Hanuman in your mind. By reading Lord Hanuman's Leelas, you are saving memories about Lord Hanuman in your mind, thereby creating your own luck. We have read about this good luck, right? We will read again next chapter. Please be present. Will you be present next Saturday? Will you be present? Then we will read that how good luck and how we create our good luck and how this karma and desire helps us in creating good luck or bad luck.
Tuesday will be a fine day.
No, we'll do it on Saturday. Please be here for Saturday. Second thing, building a better future. In this chapter, it is revealed that we have three-dimensional existence in time, that is past, present and future. This means that past, present and future are interconnected. Therefore, if you want to make your future better, you must make your past and present also better. Changing the present is in your hands. But how do you change the past? You can change the past by forgive and forget formula. Forgive those who have hurt you and harmed you in the past. Forget bad experiences you have had in the past. Do not carry the baggage of past if you want a better future. With this, we end the chapter. Let us thank Lord Hanuman for bringing this to us. Oh Lord Hanuman, I cannot imagine, I can only express immense gratitude for bringing this to us. This should have come in between our births, but it is coming in this birth to help us rid our souls of this Maya. Koti Koti Pranam Hanumanji.